Now today's gospel reading is really about two processions. One procession is going into Nain and is headed up by Jesus, the Lord of life. The other procession is coming out of Nain, is headed by death. And it's like these two processions are on a collision course, kind of like two freight trains out here on the same piece of railway. And you just know if they're headed in opposite directions, there's going to be a terrible collision. One of them has got to give way. And most of us have come to believe that death never gives way, don't we? We've always been told that the only two things in life that are certain are death and taxes. And well, death comes upon all of us. I mean, the statistics are really impressive. Almost 100% of those who have ever been born have died. Jesus, Elijah, and Enoch have been assumed into heaven, and Roman Catholics teach that Mary has as well, but there's just nothing in the Bible to really support that. So maybe 4 people in all of the history of humanity have escaped dying. And when it comes to death, the statistics are equally impressive. Almost all of those who have laid down into the tomb have stayed there. Death seems certain and utterly immovable. But when this young man of Nain entered death, it seemed to be his final step. So, death takes a hold of you, and there seems to be no return, no going back, no appeal, no argument. Death seems to be the end. And until now, until Jesus, death had the last word. But in Luke's Gospel, in chapter 7, we see again that death, when it collides with Jesus, doesn't have the last word. Coming to meet this procession headed by death is procession headed by the Lord of life. He came to have the last word. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And he came that people should have life and have it to the full. So then what happens when these two processions meet at the gate of Nain? Who will prevail? Jesus will. Jesus has the last word. Now I want you to think about one more thing, because this has helped me. When Jesus brings this boy back to life, does his life go on as if nothing has happened? Or when he receives new life, does he have a new life? And that's important for us at Trinity Church to think about, because, we've kind of been brought back to life as well. All of this got blown away. Here we are again. And so we have new life and new life. Now, here we are with this understanding of new life on the edge of this nightmare that won't end. And I have no doubt that I'm part of the procession of life. I'm following the Lord of life, and I have every confidence that God can bring good out of this evil. But it is so discouraging to turn on the news and see pelicans covered by oil. Open up the paper this morning and see oil on the beaches in Florida, where Debbie and I took a vacation just a few weeks ago. But I have every confidence God can bring new life out of this. It may not be the old life. It may not be the old life. And so how does Trinity Church speak to this? Well, we do what we've always done. See, more often than not in life, you and I have very little power. We don't have any power to stop the leak. We don't have any power to stop people from doing stupid things. We're powerless most of the time in the face of death. But Jesus isn't. But Jesus isn't. He can reach into death and bring out life. And that's why we need to continue to invite people to church, so that they can encounter the Lord of life, so that they can come to understand that God has a word for us. God has got power for us so that we can endure this. And you and I have to live with confidence that our God reigns. See, the most important thing isn't that there's a leak in the Gulf. We're going to have environmental disasters. As long as we put machinery into strange, difficult places a mile below the surface of the ocean, things are going to happen. Things are going to go wrong. But remember, in Iceland, there's another environmental disaster. It's called a volcano. Nobody made that happen. It's just happening, and it's wreaking havoc with air travel to Northern Europe. I've got friends who've got to come back from Uganda. They go through Amsterdam. They may, or they may not get back when they're supposed to. But you and I have to live with confidence that our God reigns. He's given us the tools to live through this and to help other people live through this. And our tools are simple. It's our prayer book and our Bible. And we say our prayers because it makes a difference. It reminds us that God is with us. O Lord my God, I cried out to you, and you restored me to health. You brought me up, O Lord, from the dead. And I know, if we can't get the oil stopped, it can absolutely wreck the economy of this coast. I know that. A lot of people may choose to leave, but that doesn't mean our ministry ends. We can continue to minister to the people who are here who have no place to go. So I encourage you, if you just are despairing, you don't know what to do, come to morning prayer at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Come to morning prayer Tuesday at 9 a.m. Come to the midweek service on Wednesday so we can pray for everybody caught up in this, so that we can pray for the people working to stop it. But by God, don't stop being the church. That's what that banner says. Be the church. Say your prayers. Encourage your friends to come with you. And have confidence. Our God reigns. That's what's important. Amen.